Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and today we are talking about A Marianas Medley, a collection of tales and voices from the Marianas, coming soon to an American Memorial Park theater near you. And our guests today are the project lead, Cornessa Dela Cruz, and of course, the prominent Carolinian cultural leader, Uncle Lino Olopai. Faikro, welcome. Hafaday.
Thank you, Kat. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So, Cornessa, you and some colleagues have put together this extraordinary event coming up on May 6th. What is a Marianas Medley all about?
So, to conclude our program, the MPA program under the University of Guam, we had decided to move forward with a project to end our program. And it's inspired by the Marianas Mosaic publication that was recently shared with the community several months ago. And basically, a Marianas Medley is an event that we will be hosting where a diverse group of speakers will talk about different stories and experiences and voice them out for the community to attend and share that with the speakers themselves.
So you, I understand, are graduating with your master's in public administration.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
So
the next generation are moving.
Right. What made you guys feel that this is the kind of project you wanted to bring to the community out of everything you possibly could have done? Why this?
So we definitely thought about different avenues for projects that we could have gone, but of course we wanted to take in consideration the community and how we can basically end our program with a bang, as they would say. So we all collectively decided that this was something we wanted to do in order to engage with the community, but also hopefully inspire other partnerships to continue this type of event for our people after we have completed the program.
So we're going to ask Uncle Lino to share a little bit of knowledge with us today. But before we do, just hit us with the date, time, and place for people whose interest is piqued by what we're going to hear today.
Yes, so if you are interested, the event will take place on Saturday, May 6th. It will go from 6 to 8 p.m. And there are tickets being sold at the moment, which you can purchase from our cohort. And I will provide maybe the contact information towards the end.
Why don't you give it to us now and we'll repeat it again at the end.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So you are required to purchase beforehand. So the tickets are $5 each. And if you are interested, you can reach out to us via email. And the point of contact is Johanna Ada. You can reach her at johanna.ada@tritons.uog.edu.
Say that email one more time.
Okay, so the email is Johanna, JOHANNA, .ada@tritons.uog.edu.
All right, so the subtitle of this event is pretty intriguing: An Evolution of Culture in Leadership, Traditional Arts, and Modern-Day Practices, Culture and Faith Intertwined, and more. I mean, I think it could go on. Mm-hmm. And we're going to hear from you a little bit later on some of the other speakers that we're expecting. But Uncle Lino, I understand you've been asked to speak about navigation on the day. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you're letting me throw you a little bit of a curveball.
You can throw me many curves as you wish, Kat.
Since I saw this word leadership, I was wondering if you could talk story with us a little bit about traditional leadership, especially since Cornessa and her colleagues are getting their masters in public administration, which is leadership. Give us a traditional perspective on administration and leadership.
It's very clear, and one thing that is pretty consistent, I think, and similar in many ways with other kind of group, is the older person in the family. That's where the respect begin at home with the older brother or the sister. We have words, respectful words that we address them. Then just in our household, also the clan system within the community. We have a high clan, a low clan. So with that, when it comes to a community gathering, the only speaker that representing a certain clan, and those are the ingredient of many respectful among the Carolinian. If there's going to be a large community meeting, then the elders male in our home will represent that particular family. But that is after we meet before the main event.
Meet as a family,
right? We
to discuss
as a family,
it. Yes,
we talk and go through what are some of the things that they may discuss, that the chief may ask. So the oldest person, which usually older brother, that will speak on behalf of the family. But importantly, the female, the women are the treasure, and they are the one that keeper of all our history, beliefs, knowledge, healing, child rearing and all of that. Woman, because it's a matrilineal system and all that thing keep there. But male is the one that will speak on behalf of the family.
What are the responsibilities of, say, the leader of a clan or the leader of a family to their family, or let's start with the family. You said the eldest is the leader. What is their responsibility? People think a leader, they get all the rights. Mm-hmm. But what are their responsibilities to perform on behalf of the family?
Gosh, it's maybe because the respect and that understanding was there all the time. I don't know how to express it, but when he calls for a meeting or a dispute within the family, we listen to that person in the family.
So conflict resolution.
Right.
We see that in the workplace, right, Cornessa?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And not just within the family, but then when it comes to a general island-wide meetings or gathering, then he's the one who's going to speak on the family. But after, of course, we kind of go through that as to what are the key things that he needs to emphasize during that general public meetings that reflect the family. Because we have a higher clan and a lower clan. And even the very lower clan in our tradition, it have a place in the chiefly clan. All the clans, let's say, 10 clan on Saipan. And a clan is the chiefly clan. Mm-hmm. So even the lower clan is part of the council for the chief. When it comes to add an issue, community issue, even the lowest clan is part of the chief council.
So everybody has a say.
Not too many people understand this. Lower clan, they do the craziest job that will probably throw up, if you're going to do it. So we call this clan, the lower clan, to do that. So they have a role in the community, and they have a place within the chiefs that take care of the entire population on the island.
I had the opportunity to visit Satawal recently in the Caroline Islands, one of the
Congratulations.
home islands of today's Carolinian in the Marianas. And the clan system is still very important there. People will ask you, that's one of the first questions they ask you. What is your clan?
Meta amay lang.
Awar.
Meta amafagur.
Yeah.
All of that.
So, looking at the clan system, when you talk about public administration, maybe one of the biggest things is budget management, right? So in the traditional sense of leadership, that would probably equate to management of resources. What do the leaders in the traditional system, how do they manage the resources available to the community?
Ma'am, you brought up a very interesting topic. When I first got to the island of Sarawak, for listeners, Sarawak, there's no running water, no electricity, no magdan, no super high, all of that. It's basically living off the land. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to express it, but it freaked me out because when I got sorry for that. My English is terrible. I hope all listeners.
No, that's a great description. That's a perfect word.
When I got there, the island was on, how would we call it? Shut down because one of the chief passed away.
Oh yeah, everything stops.
Right, everything stopped. And the only time you can go out and attend to your garden is when they blow the corn shell in the morning, like 6 o'clock. When they blow that corn shell, you can go to your garden and do whatever you need to do. Don't make too much noise. Then in the afternoon, they blow the corn shell again for everybody to come back out in the village. I went through that, and it really freaked me out.
Why did it freak you out?
Because I never experienced anything like that. Okay. Where we have a restriction because the chief died here on Saipan. They'll probably put me in real jail with a metal bar. So those were my, exciting experience when I visit my ancestral homeland. Those practices that were still in place and probably still is today. And I'm glad you went there.
Maybe you could speak to this. One of the things I witnessed was that, when the fishermen come in with the fish, every household gets a portion, correct?
Exactly. And we have different way of dividing up the catch. There were people that know how to do the distribution of whatever we bring, whether it's from the land, the taro, the breadfruit, whatever, or from the ocean, fish and what have you. My brother Maapielu is very good at that. But anyway, what they do, they look at the catch. How do we catch a lot? Do we come in with boatload of fish? And then they will see the family. They will see how many women that are in each household. It's a small community, so they know how many male that are in each household. If the catch is a little, then they'll check if male is less in the household. They'll probably divide it out according to the male. They will divide the cats according to the number of male because the cat is small. Okay, so they will go 2 male in that house, so 2 scoop of fish to that house. 1 male in that house, 1 scoop for that. That's how we divide it. If you have a lot of cats and a lot of female, on the island household, then they'll divide it according to the female. Those are traditional practice.
Well,
that still exists.
I was just, and that's true, and it's very much, the gender roles are still very strong there in Satawal. If you, our listeners, are intrigued by what you're hearing today, the event, again, is called A Marianas Medley. It's happening on May 16th, a variety of voices talking about topics. Cornessa, I know you've been eagerly waiting to share who the other speakers are. We're going to take a break and then come back to Cornessa after this.
I Northern Marianas Humanities Council bulaguinahanya puri historian Marianas dan kultura. Sinyon soda esisihanan formasyon gi zon mami website nmhcouncil.org pat bisita gi YouTube pat Facebook. Guajaloque diferentes clases le Blunesinia un fan. Y Northern Marianas Humanities Council has uzura todo y experiencia en tautau.
Welcome back to your Humanities Half Hour. We are, as I mentioned, talking about A Marianas Medley, a collection of tales and voices from the Marianas. Project leader Cornessa Dela Cruz. Cornessa, give us a little bit more information about the event happening on May 6th. Maybe who else will be speaking?
Okay, so we do have a lineup for the event consisting of 7 speakers. So we have Ayani Burrell, who will be doing a talk on branding in the Marianas, so branding for clothing, materials, things like that. And he would be updating his piece actually from the Marianas Mosaic publication that I spoke on earlier. We have Agatha Kete Bengeng, who will be talking about the traditional arts. We have Dr. Gavin from the Northern Marianas College, who will be talking about the evolution of cultural leadership. We have Father James Balahadia, who will be giving his perspective from the faith side relative to our Marianas. We have, of course, Uncle Lino. He will be speaking on navigation. Daisy Demapan, who will be doing a piece on spoken word. And then we have Josh Zengzung Kostru, who will be talking about music.
Wow.
Okay. Quite a lineup.
Yes.
I know.
It's
Wonderful.
diverse lineup.
What made you interested in public administration?
So for me, in my own personal academic career, I have been to school for the past 6 years, and I did major in the criminal justice field for both my associates and bachelor's. But I really do see myself somewhere in the criminal justice field, in the administration part of that, and hopefully wherever I find a career within the criminal justice field, I will be able to use my degree in order to make a difference within that agency, and hopefully be able to contribute to how the system is within that specific field in criminal justice.
Wonderful, great. I used to be a policeman.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it's a very interesting field.
I agree.
It is.
I was going to ask, in your experience, have you found or noticed anything unique or particular about the Marianas that, as far as culture or community or the way we do things here, that influences how you might be applying what you've learned in public administration?
Well, I think and I will kind of go off of what Uncle Lino mentioned earlier, I think leadership plays a very important role within our community, but also how we get there and how we work with others in order to basically further the progress of our CNMI as a whole. I do believe that if we all collaborate and work together, especially when it comes to problem solving, or when the CNMI is dealt with conflict, I do think that our CNMI can be very successful.
Let me share a little when it comes to family conflict. In our community, speaking strictly for the Carolinian, we have elders that are well respected by our community. And these are the elders that they don't know how to read and write English. They don't speak or read and write Japanese, but they are the leaders that we can depend on. And what they do is they when there is a husband and wife problem or children problem, they invited them to come and talk, like they consult the married group, and they'll help them out. And they're very good at it. I don't know whether because the community order will respect them, and whoever those elders talk to, they listen. So I don't know if that, but that's our traditional way of addressing those things.
Another cultural concept that you spoke of in your book, A Rope of Tradition, is the concept of restorative justice, where it's the consequence of breaking a law in the community. Traditionally, in our culture, has not been so much emphasis on punishment, but more on making restitution, yes, having a consequence, and doing as much as possible to restore what was lost. Am I correct, Uncle Lino?
That's very true, Kat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there anybody you would like to thank, or anything else that I see you've prepared a lot of notes there that you have in your copious notes that I want to make sure we have time to respect your work.
Yes, of course. I do want to, on behalf of the cohort, express our appreciation to the University of Guam for giving us this opportunity, of course. The Northern Marianas College and the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, who we've worked closely with in order to make this event possible. The speakers, of course, we are grateful for the speakers, especially because they are key in making this event successful, and most especially the community for all the support that we've received and also will be receiving moving forward up until the event day. And of course, Miss Kat, for your time today. We are hopeful, we are excited that the event will be successful and a very memorable one, and we do truly hope that this will inspire other organizations, other partnerships to take the event and make it become an annual event. That way we can give many other members within our community the opportunity, the platform to share their stories, to share their experiences relating to our Marianas.
Lovely. Uncle Lino, we do want to allow you to entice us a little bit with some of what you might share. I understand you mentioned you don't like to rehearse. So, ladies and gentlemen, this might actually be different from what he actually says on the day. So, but maritime, traditional navigation, maybe let's take it from the position of leadership. The leadership of the navigator or the leadership of the instructor teaching the young people. Talk to us about traditional navigation from the perspective of leadership.
I'm glad you bring that thing up. We have different schools of navigation. At the moment, the Oriang and Fanurs, those are the two pillars that are existing today. And at one time it was you can different school and different level. Oriang and Fanurs. At one time Fanurs was the top, and then some of the history event put him down, so Oriang came on the top. So at the moment, Ayul Wariang, which is the mass of Wariang, is the leader at this point in time. But there was a little history behind that. And to create a respectable way, especially when we meet in the ocean. Okay, when we meet in the ocean, when we hoist up the sail at the base of the mast, there's a knot. And in this knot you have a higher knot from the base,
okay,
lower knot.
Okay.
So when we meet, you check for the navigators. They check where they secure the rope.
Ah.
The halyard that you put. No, I don't know what you call it, halyard. We call it salidurur, and secured at the proper place. So when we meet in the ocean, that tells you where you should place your canoe, whether behind that person or in the front. Whether you're going to pass that, going like this and the wind, easterly wind comes, and it will give you whether it will give you where you belong. It will tell you where you belong. If you're going to pass him downwind,
Upwind.
yeah, or pass him
Fallian.
upwind.
Misaliang.
Right, that depend on what you see that. So that one of the respect out in the blue ocean where you don't know each other.
That's amazing.
It is. You're talking about respect. That's many things that have to do with the navigation. Not just the stars and the animal, but the etiquette itself. How you treat your crew to make a good sailor, to make a good navigator.
Management of resources by the navigator on a voyage.
Exactly. And
Tell
in
us
the
about
voyage
that.
We usually have such people with skill, healers, bassoons, chanter, musicians, singers. Those are the ingredients on a long voyage. Enhance us, especially when we ran into a storm, ran out of food, water, thirsty. We need people with those kind of caliber that can inspire our spirit in that difficult time. We do bring those on the boat aside from food and water. Those are ingredients.
Can you tell us a little bit about the navigator's role in managing food and water on the voyage?
Oh, it's very disciplined. Like I was mentioned in our tradition, we still use today. Short voyage or a long voyage, you have to put it in yourself that you may not return. That's why we have like a farewell food that we eat with the community before we leave the island. And during the voyage, we only eat when the navigator said we eat. If he said we drink when the navigator said we drink. And all of that, you take it into account how far are we from the destination and how much provision we still have on board, especially water. If we believe that we can reach our destination with a lot of leftover, we'll probably eat 3 times a day. If not, we'll probably eat only once a day. Those are the discipline that the navigator. And because of our tradition of respect, where we listen to one voice only, we do listen. Otherwise, we'll end up fighting on the canoe and we'll never reach our family. So with that culture embedded in all that enable us to listen with one word and be disciplined when said no drinking, no food today. Because our destination is quite far and we're running out of provision.
Well, thank you for coming and kind of hopefully giving us a little bit of a taste of what's going to be happening at a Marianas Medley. Any final thoughts, Uncle Lino?
No, that's the best I can say is keep up the family spirit, on the island. We're on the island. And family is probably the most important.
Hilessa. Or Wairikurik.
Wairikurik.
As they say in Satawalis. Cornessa, you have the final word.
Thank you. So we are really looking forward to this event, the first ever A Marianas Medley. And we hope that the community is too, because this event will really highlight a lot of important areas that we should know and we should learn more about when it comes to our islands, our Marianas. So I appreciate the time to get the word out to the community, but also I want to say thank you again to Uncle Lino for making the time to be here with us, and also for the university, the Northern Marianas College, the Humanities Council, and the whole community for hopefully making this event as successful as we want it to be. But we are very optimistic that it'll be very successful, especially having our speakers there with us to really make the event a great one.
Give us those details one more time, including the ticket information.
Yeah, so again, pre-registration is required, and tickets are on sale right now for $5 per ticket. And if you have any more information or you want to purchase a ticket, you can email Johanna Ada at Johanna, so that's JohannaAda nna.ada@tritons.uog.edu.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kat. It was my pleasure to share with our listeners Carolinian point of view in this fall event. It's a wonderful program. I'm glad we have this.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Our guests today have been project leader Cornessa Dela Cruz for A Marianas Medley, a collection of tales and voices from the Marianas, and one of the speakers from the upcoming event, cultural leader Uncle Lino Olopai. This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
This program was supported by a We the People grant awarded to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.